What's up, Hearthstone fans? Welcome to the first ever episode of The Curve, where we draw the biggest headlines from this past weekend of Hearthstone Grandmasters. I'm your host, Nathan That's Admiral Zamora. Let's do this. Season 1 of Hearthstone Grandmasters kicked off this past weekend as players across Asia Pacific, Europe, and the Americas began double round-robin play. It was also the debut of the new Hearthstone competitive format, Specialist. Players and fans eagerly anticipated how the meta would shake out, and while most ultimately settled on Warrior, there were some interesting choices on display. Of the 16 matches this past weekend in the Asia Pacific region, 10 of them were won by Rogues. Of course, there were some mirror matchups that were included in those wins, but the popularity of the Rogue class in that region cannot be denied. Flurry and Shaxi each went 2-0 in match records this weekend with their Tempo Rogue decks and will look to continue their win streak next weekend. With players able to submit new decks each week, it's hard to say exactly what we'll see in future matches. But that's the player's job to figure out. We get to sit back and enjoy. Hearthstone Grandmasters for the European region kicked off featuring Kolento, who many consider the greatest player of all time. Kolento dispatched Boar Control in the European Grandmasters in his final match on Sunday to finish the weekend 2-0. He joins Cloud9 teammates Dawn and Flurry, who also finished their inaugural weekends undefeated for a perfect 6-0 match record. Despite being in different regions, it looks like Team Cloud9 is dominant early on. When 13 out of the 16 Americas players all bring Warrior decks to a weekend, you get the inevitable Warrior mirror matches. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you view the situation, Warrior mirrors can be a mental marathon, especially when some of the games run almost an hour long. For the hardcore fan, it's always a treat to see good old-fashioned control Warrior matchups, even if 10 out of the 16 this weekend were Warrior mirrors. Despite the monotony of the class selection, there were some innovative approaches though. Frozen's Mechathune Undertaker Warrior was able to get the edge over both of his opponents. I don't know if we'll see 13 out of 16 Warriors again, but it will be exciting to see how players pivot based on this weekend's past results. If you can't beat them, join them. In this week's meta moment, we have to highlight Cyclone Mage. Despite only a 50% win rate across Asia Pacific, Cyclone Mage dominated week 1 of Grandmasters in Europe at a perfect match record. Tice and Phenomeno had no problems dispatching their opponents, despite us the casters wondering if this is even the final form of the deck. Will players continue to conjure up new lists to try to find that perfect storm of cards, or will we start to see some counters in week number 2? If you miss any of the Grandmasters action, you can always check out our VODs on the Twitch page, twitch.tv/playhearthstone. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch. Grandmasters resumes this weekend, and in China, they have already begun the Gold Team Championships. That's it for us. We'll see you in the tavern.